It was the kind of trip every student looked forward to all year. The kind that promised laughter, inside jokes, and maybe just maybe a chance to step out of the shadows. You weren't thinking about much else as you walked briskly towards the bus parked outside the school gate. The morning air still held a chill, and your breath came out in tiny clouds. As your sneakers tapped against the pavement, your backpack bounced on your shoulders, overstuffed with snacks, a hoodie, and your diary, a silent keeper of your biggest secret, your feelings for jungkook. Near the bus, a small group had already gathered, your friends buzzing with excitement. Where is she? Jia asked, her voice laced with playful impatience, rocking back and forth on her heels. She said she is 5 minutes away, another girl replied, tugging the zipper of her bag closed. Typical wine. Jia chuckled, always fashionably late. Just a few meters away stood Jungkook, backpack slung casually over one shoulder. His best friend Mia was beside him, animatedly talking as she listed everything she packed. She was smiling, her energy bright like she would rehearsed her excitement for days. Snacks, check. Energy drinks, check. Portable speaker, definitely check. I knew I forgot something. But Jungkook wasn't really listening. His gaze kept scanning the street, his brows furrowed with quiet anticipation. His fingers fidgeted with the strap of his bag. Jungkook, Mia waved a hand in front of him, snapping him out of his thoughts. Earth to you. I blinked and looked down at her. Oh, yeah, sorry, just tuned out. Gia suddenly perked up, shielding her eyes from the sun. There is wine, she called, her voice rising with excitement. Jungkook's head immediately turned, his eyes locking on you as he jogged towards the group. The tightness in his expression softened, replaced by something warm and unspoken. A faint smell pulled at the corners of his mouth. Mia followed his gaze, her stomach twisting as she saw the way his entire demeanor shifted. She knew it, she had always known, but seeing it was worse. Come on, she said quickly, grabbing his wrist and tugging him towards the bus. Let's get seats before they are all taken. Jungle let himself be pulled away, though his gaze lingered on you for a heartbeat longer. You raised your friend's breath, catching slightly. About time, Gia tased, looping an arm around through ears. Sorry, had to grab my charger. Also have a slight fever. Took medicine though, you said, voice low. Gia frowned immediately. Are you serious? You should have stayed home. It's not that bad, you assured her with a small smile, and I didn't want to miss this. She hesitated but eventually nodded. Okay, just promise you will let us know if you feel worse. I will. I just need to rest a little. I'll be fine. Alright, let's go to the bus. Seats are disappearing fast. When you finally climbed onto the bus, nearly every seat was occupied. Your eyes scanned the rows quickly. That's when you saw it, an empty seat beside Jungkook. Your pulse quickened. You are crushed since summer for a year, quiet, observant, intimidating in the way he never seemed to need attention. You had only spoken a handful of times but about labs and assignments, but even those small interactions lived rent-free in your heart. You stepped into the row, clutching your bag. Is this seat taken? Jungkook looked up, expression unreadable. He opened his mouth to reply. But Mia suddenly appeared, sliding into the seat like it belonged to her. Sorry, that's my seat, she said sweetly, even though it clearly wasn't. You blinked, startled. Oh, it's okay. Why? Gia called from behind. Over here, I saved you a spot. You turned, forcing a smile, and made your way to the seat beside her, 2 rows behind Jungkook. from your new seat, you could still see part of his profile, and he could probably see you too, at least a glimpse. You caught yourself stealing glances more than once, your eyes tracing the line of his jaw, the way his fingers tapped to some silent rhythm. He had looked over once, eyes meeting yours briefly in the rearview mirror before he turned back to the window. You weren't sure if you imagined it, but that teeny smile, it felt like something. The bus ride stretched into the early hours of the day. The sun warmed the glass windows as the trees blurred by. You leaned into your seat, eyelids heavy, letting the low hum of conversation and music blend into background noise. Mia, seated beside Jungkook, was clearly trying. Want to watch a movie? She asked, holding up her phone. No thanks. Music, she offered next. I'm good. Wanna play a game? She tried again, half laughing. Jungkook smiled politely. Maybe later. Mia's enthusiasm deflated a little more with every rejection. She crossed her arms, then leaned slightly towards him. You're being super cold today. Something on your mind? Jungkook didn't reply. He glanced out the window again, and you couldn't help noticing the faint tension in his shoulders. Your gaze lingered on him, wondering if he noticed you watching, and then he turned just slightly enough to glance your way. Your eyes met again, this time for longer. He didn't smile, but he didn't look away, and you felt it a quiet exchange in that second, like he saw you, like you weren't just another background classmate. The bus rolled to a stop at a rest station. The teacher stood and clapped his hands. Alright everyone, 20 minutes break, restroom, snacks, stretch your legs, be back quickly. You got up and headed outside with Gia, still feeling a bit off from the fever. The crisp air hit your skin and you hugged yourself for warmth. I'll be quick, you said, heading to the Jungkook was already there. He looked over when you approached. Strawberry milk? He guessed. You blinked. Yeah, how did you know? You had it during final weeks, he said casually, as if that wasn't the most specific thing ever. You smile. Good memory. I notice things. You said almost shyly. You both reached for the same bottle and your hands brushed. You pull back, cheeks warming. You take it, you said quickly. He shook his head. Ladies first. You paid for it, then reached for another. Then, this one is on me. He took it, his fingers brushing yours again. From a few feet away, Mia watched. Her arms were folded tight across her chest. The way Jungkook was looking at you, focused, gentle, it stung her. Mia, standing nearby with a snack in her hand, was the same. Her expression shifted. The way Jungkook was looking at you, focused, curious, it was more attention than she had gotten in the last hour. You two look cozy, she said, walking up and squeezing herself between you. Jungkook pulled away slightly, just chatting. Of course, she said sweetly, but glanced at you with narrowed eyes. Jungkook checked the time. We should head back now. As the three of you walked towards the bus, you felt his presence beside you, his steps slowing just enough to match yours. Mia tried to close the gap, but Jungkook didn't fall into step with her again. Back on the bus, you returned to your seat, cheeks still warm from that small moment. And behind you, Mia sat beside Jungkook again, but this time he leaned against the window, earbuds in, clearly done. By the time the bus pulled into the campground, the sky had turned a soft golden hue. tents were set up and a bonfire was being prepared in the center of the clearing. Dinner was over quickly and students gathered around the fire. Laughter, music, and the occasional burst of sparks filled the air. You huddled near the flames with Gia, your body still cold despite the warmth. Still feverish? She asked you. Maybe a little, you admitted. Mia stood with Jungkook a few feet away, again trying to get his attention. It's freezing, she complained loudly. I didn't bring my sweater. Jungkook glanced at her but said nothing. He looked tired, distant. Mia asked Jungkook, "Why don't you give me your sweater?" Jungkook said you can get it from the bag. It's in the bus. Later, he excused himself to use the restroom. And on his way back, he passed behind a group of your friends. Wine is still sick, one of them said. She's shivering like crazy. Poor thing, another added. I wish someone had a spare blanket. Jungkook stopped. He turned towards the fire. His eyes landed on you. Your friend tucked into herself. Teeth lightly chattering without a word, he walked over. Cold? He asked. You looked up surprised a little. He didn't say anything else. He simply stepped closer, unzipped his jacket, and gently slid it over your shoulders. He pulled the zipper up to your chin, wrapping it around both of you. Your breath caught in your throat. Gasps and whispers rippled around the fire. Wait, what? Someone whispered. Mia stood, stunned. I can give her my sweater, she offered, stepping forward. Jungkook shook his head. She is fine like this, aren't you? You nodded shyly. He turned towards the others. I'm with my girlfriend. Any problem with that? The group fell silent. You stared at him wide-eyed. Girlfriend, you whispered. He leaned in and whispered, you really shouldn't leave your diary in your locker. Someone might read it. Your mouth fell open. You read my diary? He chuckled quietly, every word. Your face turned crimson. You wanted to crawl under a rock. You never said anything. You murmured. He smiled. I didn't know how. I didn't think you would actually like someone like me. You were wrong, he whispered. The fire popped and someone resumed playing a guitar in the background slowly. The others went back to the conversations, casting occasional glances your way. Jungkook stayed beside you, his jacket still wrapped around you both. It smelled like cedar and spice like him. Did you really read the whole thing? You asked quietly. I couldn't stop, he admitted. I didn't mean to find it. It fell out of your bag when you were clearing the lab together. But once I started reading, your face flushed. You must think I'm weird. I think you're brave, he said, unreal and beautiful. Your heart skipped again and again. You have barely spoken to me until now. I didn't know how, but I have noticed you every day, every class, the way you laugh with your friends, the way you bite your pen. When you're thinking, the way you always stay behind to clean up. You smile speechless. Burn a marshmallow for me. Yeah, suddenly you laughed. You're serious? It's a campfire tradition. You stuck a marshmallow too close to the flame and it caught fire instantly. Whoa, you are pulling it back. He laughed finally fully. Welcome to the group. Later that night, when you began to feel worse, Jungkook stayed close. His hand brushed yours once, then twice before fully holding it. You leaned your head on his shoulder, exhaustion overtaking you. The fire crackle laughter continued, but everything softened around you. When the teacher came by and saw you resting against Jungkook, she said nothing. Looks like she finally warmed up, she said with a smile. She's with me. Jungkook replied, simply his tone protective. Okay, okay, someone called. Truth or dare time. The circle rearranged and you and Jungkook sat side by side, still sharing his jacket. Wine, truth or dare? Truth, you said, cheeks still red. Who was your first ever crush? You bit your lip, glancing at Jungkook, still him. You said, barely audible. Everyone screamed. Jungkook smirked. Dare, he said when it was his turn. I dare you to tell your most embarrassing moment. He looked thoughtful. I once tripped in the cafeteria, right in front of mine. You gasped. That was you? He nodded. You were too polite to laugh, but I saw it in your eyes. You both laughed, the sound mingling with the crackle of fire and distant music, and in that golden warmth, something unspoken was finally said. The rest of the night passed in laughter and whispers. You leaned into him, your fever forgetting, your heart wide open. And for the first time, you weren't just a background character, you were his story too. The next morning, the forest was quiet and fresh. Birds chirped softly overhead. You woke up inside the bus, your fever finally gone, Jungkook's jacket still over your lap. Across from you, Jungkook sat curled upon a bus seat, arms crossed, head tilted back. You smiled and gently draped the jacket over his shoulder. He stared blankly awake. Hey, he said groggily. Still here, you whispered. Of course, he replied. You scared me last night. You reached for his hand. Thank you for everything. He squeezed your fingers. I meant what I said last night. I care. I have for a while. You leaned your head against him again, so you called me your girlfriend. That wasn't just to stop the whispers. He looked down at you. No, that was me finally telling the truth. And as the bus rolled forward, the trees slowly disappearing behind you and Jungkook sat by side, hands intertwined, hearts no longer waiting. Thank you for watching.